Monday officially, but it's all weekend long. People are celebrating and honoring Veterans Day. And if you are worried about the future of this country and what these young whippersnappers are doing these days, you should rest easy because the future is bright with our next guest. He is the vice president of John Burroughs Senior Class 2018. He is also the newly minted, now what is this, Matthew? You are the newly minted chairperson of the Youth Advisory Board for the Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Matthew Williams, welcome to Big 550 KTRS.
Morning, McGraw. Thanks for having me on.
You were on an honor flight before, right? A couple years ago.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, tell people what an honor flight is.
So an honor flight is an organization. It's part of Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. And what they do is they sponsor flights for veterans, World War II veterans, Korean War veterans, and they take the veterans to D.C. on a completely paid trip to see the memorials that were erected in their honor.
Right, and then they have a sponsor or a guide, and you were you were attached to.
Yes, so I was a guardian for a Korean War veteran. His
Right.
name was Marvin Weil.
And so the veteran gets to see the monuments made in their honor, but then you also get an education spending a day with somebody who was there on the front lines.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I would say for both of us, we would consider it one of the best days of our lives.
Do you still keep in touch?
I do, actually, and I've met some other veterans throughout my journey through Honor Flight, and they follow me on Facebook, and
yeah, it's a pretty neat deal.
It is cool.
All right, so what's coming up with this charity event?
So what we've been working on is we've built a curriculum program to bring veterans into St. Louis area high schools, and we're calling it Preserving the Legacy. And so the goal is to have 20-plus schools in the St. Louis area, mostly high schools, participate. And the way it's going to work is it's going to become a living history. So we'll have the veterans come to the classrooms and talk to the students and have a Q&A. And we've decided that this is really the best way to learn about U.S. history. You know,
Right.
High schools across St. Louis are already learning about U.S. history their junior year, and it will fit perfectly into their curriculum.
So
This is amazing to me that through your work, you're helping come up with an actual curriculum for schools. That's amazing.
Well, one of the things I took away from my honor flight experience was that, you know, it was fantastic for sort of my parents' generation, but there was no way to connect my generation with these veterans. And I felt like that was something really important because it opened my eyes to sort of the amazing stories that they have and how amazing these people are really the heroes, and they're the reason that we're here today.
You heard of the Korean War, but it never really touched you until you had a chance to meet a man who had actually been to Korea, and makes a lot more sense when you hear about North Korea, South Korea now in the news. Yeah. Where are you with these schools and signing up these schools?
So we have 4 or 5 schools that have committed to the plan and have already started work. In fact, my own school, John Burroughs, is hosting Mr. Joe Brader. He's a World War II veteran who served at D-Day and the Battle of the Bulge, and he's coming to Burroughs tomorrow in honor of...
That was the guy who was on the show, right?
That's correct, yes. He was at the golf tournament.
It wasn't a dry eye in the house when he was on the show.
How do you, when you introduce this, how do you approach schools? Do you go yourself?
So some of it's been relationship-based, based on if we know people in the school who'd be interested. Otherwise, we've contacted the principals and the administration at the
What's
schools.
been the reaction from the schools? Positive or hesitancy? Or
For most of the schools, they've been extremely positive.
Yeah.
However, we are still looking for more schools, so
Right.
if you're interested.
Okay, so tomorrow at John Burroughs is just for the kids of John Burroughs.
Yes, so
Yes.
that's what I've done for my school. And so what we're doing is he's going to have an onstage interview in front of the whole school for our morning assembly. So there'll be 600 kids, 100 faculty, and myself and my friend Jackson Williams will be interviewing Mr. Brader on stage.
Jackson Williams, any relation?
No.
Okay, all right.
And we'll be having a donut sale as well to raise money for Honor Flight. And then following the assembly, he'll be attending a classroom where we'll be doing a Q&A with the students.
Beautiful. Okay, so people out who want to get involved with this, or their school wants to get involved with this, how do they go about doing that?
Well, Honor Flight has a website, gsl.honorflight.org, and they also have a Facebook and Twitter at GSL Honor Flight.
GSLHonorFlight.org, GSLHonorFlight.org, and this is the chairman of the Youth Advisory Board for the Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Is the history of America not in good hands with this guy?
It is,
Yeah,
I tell you.
Right? Where
He's the future.
He's the future. Now, I know you're looking at schools, and I'm not going to put you on the spot, but let me just say Nebraska is a wonderful opportunity. You can do all sorts of wonderful things going forward.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll let you get to school. What time does class start?
8:15.
8:15. You got to get there, plus traffic is what it is. Matthew Williams, senior at John Burroughs, and here to promote this Greater St. Louis Honor Flight new curriculum with putting veterans with kids in the school. It's a wonderful organization.
Congrats.
To find out more, gslhonorflight.org. Anything else we know?
Tomorrow's Veterans Day. If you see a veteran, make sure you go say thank you. It's really, to me, it's the least thing you can do.
Matthew Williams, we'll talk to you soon.